Most people never get rich because they never change how they think about money. They wait for a raise. They wait for luck. They wait for the economy to turn in their favor. But the truth is, you don't need to wait for anything. You need to start thinking differently. That's how it started for me. I didn't grow up with money. I didn't have wealthy mentors. I wasn't born into a successful family. I simply got tired of being broke. I got tired of making excuses. And one day I decided that if I didn't change the rules I lived by, I'd keep losing the game. Wealth doesn't show up by accident. It responds to order. It responds to discipline. It responds to someone who is serious about becoming more than they've been. I wasn't always serious. In my early 20s, I was working hard, but I had nothing to show for it. I kept telling myself that someday things would get better, but someday isn't a plan. Someday is a fantasy, and fantasies won't pay the bills. I had to stop living like the world owed me something. I had to stop blaming other people. I had to stop pretending that effort alone would solve everything. Effort matters, but effort without direction is like running full speed into a wall. You work up a sweat, but you go nowhere. The real shift happened when I started following rules. Not rules made by chance, but rules that had been proven over time. Rules that gave structure to my behavior. Rules that turned money from a mystery into a tool. Rule number 1, always pay yourself first. When I learned this, everything changed. I used to pay everyone else first. The landlord, the utility company, the grocer, and then I'd hope there was something left for me. But you can't build wealth on leftovers. You have to put yourself at the front of the line. Every time you earn $1, take a portion and set it aside for your future. Not your bills, not your vacation, not your dinner plans, your future. Because if you don't make yourself a priority, you will never have the life you want. This rule taught me that money is not just for spending, it's for building. Rule number 2, learn how money works. Ignorance is expensive. When I was broke, I wasn't just financially poor. I was poor in knowledge. I didn't know how to read a financial statement. I didn't know what assets were. I didn't understand the difference between earning money and growing money. I thought all I needed was more income. But more income doesn't help if your mind hasn't changed. You'll just spend faster, you'll live larger, and you'll still be broke. What helped me was education. I started reading. I listened to people who were winning. I asked questions, and over time I began to understand the mechanics of wealth. It's not magic. It's not complicated. It's a process. And when you understand the process, you stop being afraid of money and you start directing it. Rule number 3, stop buying things you don't need to impress people who don't care. Most people go broke trying to look rich. They buy things for the image, not the function. I used to do it. I'd buy the nice suit, the flashy watch, the upgraded car, not because I needed them, but because I wanted others to see me as successful. That's a trap. You don't get wealthy trying to prove something. You get wealthy by being strategic, not by putting on a show. I learned that real wealth is quiet. It's not loud. It doesn't need approval. The moment I stopped spending money to feel important, I started keeping more of it. And with more of it, I could invest. I could grow. I could move toward freedom. Rule number 4, create more than you consume. This rule changed how I saw my time, my energy, my skills. Most people are stuck in consumption mode. They scroll, they shop, they entertain themselves, but they don't build anything. And if you're always consuming, you're always spending. I had to shift from being a consumer to being a producer. I asked myself, what can I offer the world? What can I create that adds value? When I started creating, opportunities started showing up. My income rose. My confidence grew. I became someone people wanted to pay. That's the formula. Provide value, get rewarded. It's not about luck. It's about contribution. And the more you contribute, the more you earn. Rule number 5, multiply. Don't just accumulate. Saving money is smart. But saving alone won't make you wealthy. You have to learn how to multiply what you save. That's the power of investing. I used to keep all my money in a savings account. It felt safe. But safety doesn't build wealth. Growth does. So I started studying investments, businesses, real estate, stocks. I didn't jump in blind. I educated myself. I took smart risks, and I learned from every move I made. The goal is not just to hold on to money. It's to put it to work, because money sitting still loses value. But money in motion, money with direction, that's what builds empires. Rule number 6. Be patient, but not passive. Too many people confuse waiting with doing nothing. They think wealth should come overnight, and if it doesn't, they get discouraged. But wealth is built slowly, day by day, habit by habit. It takes patience, but it also takes action. You can't just hope. You can't just visualize. You have to show up. You have to do the work. I stayed broke for years because I was waiting for something big to happen. But the truth is, big things come from small, consistent efforts. I started making my bed, showing up on time, following through, saving the $10 instead of spending it. Over time, those small choices built momentum, and that momentum turned into success. Rule number 7. Teach what you learn. Share your progress. Help others grow. Money doesn't just reward effort, it rewards leadership. I used to think that keeping what I knew to myself gave me an edge, but the more I shared, the more I gained. I helped others win. I inspired people to change, and in return, I built relationships, credibility, and influence. When you become someone who lifts others, you grow faster, because the world starts to trust you, and trust is currency. In every industry, in every business, people pay those they trust. So when you live with integrity, when you practice what you preach, when you help others without needing a reward, the rewards show up anyway. I didn't follow these rules because I was clever. I followed them because I was tired of being tired. Tired of feeling like life was passing me by. Tired of settling for less when I knew there was more. These rules gave me structure. They gave me power. They gave me freedom. And I followed them before I had much. That's the key. You don't wait until you're wealthy to get serious. You get serious first, and wealth starts to follow. You don't need a big salary to save a small portion. You don't need a financial degree to understand value. You don't need a lucky break to stop overspending. You just need the decision to take control. That's what I did. I took control. I stopped blaming. I stopped waiting. I stopped pretending. And I started doing. It wasn't easy. It wasn't quick, but it was worth it. Because money is not just about comfort. It's about options. It's about freedom. It's about being able to say yes to the right things and no to the wrong ones. It's about waking up with peace of mind, not pressure. That kind of life doesn't happen by chance. It happens when you follow rules that work. And these rules, they work. They worked for me. They can work for anyone. Start where you are. Start with what you have. Start now. You don't need the perfect job. You don't need the perfect timing. What you need is the decision to change your behavior. Money will always follow behavior, not promises, not potential. Behavior. Every time you choose to delay gratification, that's wealth building. Every time you decide to track your expenses, that's clarity. Every time you say no to what doesn't matter, you say yes to the future you're trying to build. You are never too late, and you are never too early to start building a financial life that works. People wait for motivation, but motivation is unreliable. Some days it's there, some days it's not. But discipline is always available. I didn't wait to feel ready. I decided to get ready. I built routines. I created structure. I wrote things down. I tracked progress. I made financial goals real by putting them on paper and attaching numbers to them. If it wasn't measured, it didn't exist. If it wasn't tracked, it wasn't serious. That's what discipline looks like. It's not about perfection. It's about persistence. You'll get tested. You'll feel tempted to break the rules. You'll want to upgrade your lifestyle before you've earned it. You'll want to spend because it feels good in the moment. But wealth is not about how you feel. It's about what you build. The way to stay strong is to remember your reason. Why did you start? Why did you decide you weren't going to live on the edge anymore? Why did you get tired of scraping by? Hold on to that. Because the days will come when quitting feels easier. But that's when growth is just around the corner. There was a time I thought I'd never escape financial stress. I thought I'd always be behind. That my circumstances were permanent. But I was wrong. They were only permanent if I kept doing what I'd always done. That's what most people miss. The belief that their situation is fixed. But no situation is fixed when the person is willing to move. When the person is willing to change their habits. That's how you change your life. One decision, $1, one habit at a time. And once the momentum starts, don't let it go. Protect it, nurture it, build around it. Wealth responds to momentum. You start saving and suddenly you think bigger. You invest and suddenly you care more about learning. You cut expenses and suddenly your priorities shift. You feel the power of progress. And once you feel that, once you taste what it's like to be in control, you don't want to go back. You can't go back. Because once you've experienced financial freedom, dependency feels like a prison. So build your own economy. Don't let the outside world dictate your future. Don't rely on others to save you. Save yourself. Think for yourself. Build for yourself. Create a plan so strong. Even failure can't break it. A plan that works even when life gets unpredictable, because it will. Emergencies will happen. Markets will shift. People will let you down. But if your financial foundation is strong, you'll bend. You won't break. That's the difference between someone who survives and someone who thrives. Preparation. That's what I wish more people understood. Wealth is not about greed. It's not about luxury. It's about strength. It's about being able to stand when others fall. It's about helping when others are hurting. It's about making decisions from power, not panic. When you have money in the bank, when you have assets working for you, when you live below your means and invest the difference, you walk differently. You speak differently. You don't have to settle. You don't have to say yes to everything, just to get by. And here's the truth. Most people don't want to face. If you're not managing the little you have, more money won't help. It'll only make your problems bigger. More money without better habits leads to more debt, more stress, more confusion. So start where you are. If you have $10, treat it with the same seriousness you would treat 10,000. That's how I started. I respected the little I had. I gave every dollar a job. I knew where it went. I didn't waste it. I didn't make excuses. I took pride in managing well, even when I didn't have much to manage. Eventually, that respect turned into results. People started trusting me more. Opportunities showed up. Doors opened. Why? Because I became the kind of person who could be trusted with more. That's how it works. The universe doesn't hand out abundance randomly. It gives more to those who are ready. And readiness is not about talent. It's about character, discipline, integrity, the ability to delay pleasure, the willingness to say no, the wisdom to say yes to the right things. If you want a different financial life, you need different standards. Raise them. Get serious. Get clear. Get consistent. Build routines that protect your money, not drain it. Create habits that multiply what you earn. Stop looking for shortcuts. Start building the road. That's what wealth is. A road you build one brick at a time. You lay those bricks daily through your choices. You decide what stays and what goes. You decide what matters and what doesn't. And over time, that road leads to a place called freedom. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to get it all right on day one. But you do need to get started. Stop waiting. Stop stalling. Stop pretending that more time will help. More time without action just leads to more regret. What helps is momentum. What helps is a decision made today, followed by action tonight, followed by consistency tomorrow. You don't need big wins. You need small ones stacked on top of each other. That's what wealth is built on. And when you feel like giving up, remember this. I started with nothing. I had debt. I had fear. I had doubt. But I also had a choice. And I chose to change. That choice made all the difference. You can make it too. Not someday. Today. And once I made that choice, I followed it with new behavior. I didn't just talk about change. I lived it. I cut back. I studied. I stayed in. I listened. I worked longer. I read more. I asked better questions. I didn't need luck. I needed discipline. I didn't wait for the right opportunity. I created one. That's the formula. Change your thoughts, change your habits, and the results will catch up. Maybe not overnight, but they will catch up. When people look at wealth, they see the result. The cars, the homes, the comfort, but they miss what built it. They don't see the early mornings and the late nights. They don't see the planning, the patience, the persistence. They don't see the sacrifices, the things not bought, the vacations not taken, the meals made at home, the shoes not replaced. That's what wealth is built on. Sacrifice now for strength later. But here's the reward. One day you wake up and you're not stressed anymore. You're not worried about bills. You're not losing sleep over money. You've got options. You've got control. That's when it all starts to feel worth it. When you no longer have to say yes just to survive. When you can walk away from anything that doesn't align with your values, your vision, your peace. That's real wealth. And it's not about having millions in the bank. It's about knowing how to manage what you've got. About being intentional with every choice. About building the kind of life you don't need to escape from. That's freedom. When you live below your means, invest wisely, and avoid the traps of comparison, you start to breathe easier. You start to think bigger. You no longer panic about the unexpected because you've prepared for it. I remember when I got my first real check. I didn't go out and celebrate. I didn't upgrade anything. I sat down with a pen and paper and asked one question: how can I make this money work harder than I do? That one question changed everything. I stopped seeing money as something to spend and started seeing it as something to grow. I became obsessed with multiplying it, not flaunting it. And that mindset, that shift, is what separates the wealthy from the broke. Not income, not background, not education, mindset. And if you don't build that mindset, no amount of money will fix your problems. Because the money is not the solution. You are. The money only magnifies who you are. If you're irresponsible without it, you'll be reckless with it. If you're disciplined with little, you'll be powerful with more. That's why I always tell people, don't just chase wealth. Become someone worthy of wealth. Build the character. Build the strength. Build the habits. The money will follow, but you've got to stay patient. Real wealth doesn't show up instantly. It builds quietly, day by day, decision by decision. You won't always see the results at first. You won't always feel progress. But if you keep planting the right seeds, the harvest comes. You can't rush it. You can't shortcut it. You can't cheat it. You've got to earn it. Every dollar of real wealth is earned through behavior, not chance. And when life hits, because it will, you don't fold. You adjust. You adapt. You remember what you're building. You don't throw away your plan because you hit a rough patch. You tighten up. You cut costs. You shift your strategy, but you never give up. That's how I got through the hard years. I didn't abandon my principles. I didn't chase shiny things. I stuck to the fundamentals. Save, invest. Avoid debt. Live below your means. Focus on growth. Those rules don't change. Only your consistency does. And as you grow, your priorities shift. You stop chasing what impresses others. You start building what protects you. You stop needing validation. You start creating value. You stop buying liabilities. You start buying freedom. That's when the real power begins. When you no longer feel pulled by every trend. When your life starts moving in the direction you choose. Not luck, not hype, not trends, but choice. Strategic, daily choice. And if you're wondering where to begin with clarity. What do you want your financial life to look like? 5 years from now, 10 years from now. What are you working toward? Write it down. Get specific. Make it real. Then build your daily behavior around that vision. Every decision should support it. Every dollar should respect it. Every habit should reflect it. That's how you stay aligned. That's how you stay consistent. You don't need to do what everyone else is doing. Most people are broke, trying to look rich. You don't need to keep up. You need to build up. You don't need applause. You need results. Let the results speak. Let the results show your discipline, your focus, your vision. That's how I did it. Quiet work, clear goals, long-term thinking, small wins stacked daily. And eventually those small wins built a life I didn't need to run from. You can have that too. You can build something that lasts. But you have to decide what matters more. Pleasure now or freedom later. You can't serve both. You have to choose. And every day is a chance to choose again. Even if you've made mistakes. Even if you've wasted years. Even if you're starting from nothing. Today is a fresh chance to turn it all around. But it won't come from wishing. It'll come from doing. Do the work. Show up. Keep going. Keep growing. Because money doesn't change who you are. It reveals it. So build the kind of character that wealth can trust. Build the kind of life that doesn't depend on luck or chance or handouts. Build the kind of discipline that carries you through storms. That's real wealth. And you can start building it right now. And don't just build it for you, build it for everyone who's counting on you. Build it so your children don't have to start where you started. Build it so your family sees what's possible when one person makes a decision and sticks with it. Build it so you can give, not just from your wallet, but from your wisdom. So you can speak from experience, not theory. So you can tell your story with pride, not regret. That's what kept me going in the early years. I wasn't just building wealth. I was breaking cycles. I was setting a new standard. I was rewriting the story of what was possible for someone like me. And let me tell you something. There's no better feeling than knowing you did it. That you made the hard choices. That you walked the hard road. That you didn't quit when it got uncomfortable. That you didn't give in to easy distractions. That you stayed the course. Because everything in this world will try to pull you off that path. Comfort, fear, doubt. People who mean well but think small. Noise from every direction telling you what you should do, what you deserve, what you're missing out on. But none of that matters. You've got to protect your focus like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Your future depends on what you do right now, not tomorrow, not next week. Now, and you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. You don't need all the answers. You just need the discipline to stay curious. To keep learning, to ask better questions, to make fewer excuses. You don't need to win every day. You just need to show up, even on the days you don't feel like it, especially on those days. Because the days you don't feel like it are the days that build something strong inside of you. That's how I became wealthy, not just in money, but in mindset, in confidence, in clarity. I spent years working harder on myself than I did on my job. And that investment paid off more than anything else. Because no one can take that from you. Not the market, not inflation, not politics. Your skills, your mindset, your knowledge, your character. That's your real capital. And if you develop it, if you make it a daily habit, you'll always find a way forward, no matter what happens around you. People ask, what's the secret? The secret is that there is no secret. It's the same simple rules practiced over and over with intensity and intention. It's living on less than you make. It's saving the difference. It's putting your money where it grows, not where it disappears. It's saying no to things that don't move you forward. It's saying yes to habits that feel hard now but reward you for years. That's how I did it. That's how anyone can do it. And maybe you're listening to this and you've made mistakes. Maybe you've wasted time or blown money or ignored opportunities. That's all right. It's never too late to take control. What matters is that you start, that you decide, that you stop making excuses and start making adjustments, that you stop blaming and start building. Because the truth is, no one is coming to rescue you. No one is going to hand you success. You have to rise up and earn it, one decision at a time. And I promise you this, if you do, you'll wake up one day and realize you're not the same person anymore. You'll feel stronger. You'll walk with more certainty. You'll speak with more authority. You'll live with more peace. Because you'll know that you've earned everything you have. That you didn't cheat your way there. That you didn't shortcut the process. That you built it on purpose. And that pride, that deep inner confidence, is worth more than any car or house or title. So where do you begin? Begin by making money your servant, not your master. Begin by setting goals that are about freedom, not status. Begin by learning more than you earn. At first, begin by building the muscle of self-control, of delayed gratification, of long-term focus. And watch what happens. Watch how everything starts to shift. Watch how the world opens up for the person who takes responsibility for their life. That's how I did it. That's how anyone can do it. Not by waiting, not by wishing, but by working on yourself, on your habits, on your mindset, every single day. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the rules, it's about the person you become by following them. And that person can do anything. You see, money is not just a number on a screen, or a pile of paper in your hand. It is a tool, a resource, a means to an end. But it is your understanding of money, your respect for it, and your relationship with it that determines whether it will serve you or control you. When you grasp this, when you truly get that money is a reflection of your mindset and discipline, everything changes. It's tempting to think that wealth is about luck or opportunity or timing. But the reality is, wealth is about preparation. It's about being ready for the moment when opportunity comes. It's about building the character that can handle success, the habits that create it, and the patience to wait for it. Without preparation, luck is wasted. Without readiness, opportunity passes you by. And here is something many people don't want to hear. The moment you start thinking you deserve something without earning it is the moment you start losing it. Wealth does not reward entitlement, it rewards effort, consistency, and integrity. It rewards those who value their work, their time, and their future more than fleeting pleasures. It rewards those who understand that every dollar saved is a dollar invested in their freedom. So build a fortress around your financial future. Guard your spending as you would guard your reputation. Question every purchase, every investment, every financial decision. Ask yourself, does this bring me closer to my goals or farther away? If it's not moving you forward, say no. If it's not serving your vision, let it go. Discipline is not a punishment, it's your path to power. And don't underestimate the power of small daily choices. The money you save on one meal can be the seed for your future investment. The discipline to skip one unnecessary purchase today is the habit that leads to financial independence tomorrow. Wealth is not built in grand gestures, but in consistent, deliberate actions repeated day after day. Learn to delay gratification. Learn to be comfortable with saying no to yourself. Because every time you resist an impulse to spend on something unnecessary, you're saying yes to your future freedom. You're saying yes to peace of mind. You're saying yes to control over your life, and that kind of power is priceless. At the same time, keep your eyes open to opportunities to grow your money. Don't let fear freeze you. Educate yourself on investments, on markets, on business. Find mentors, read books, listen to those who've walked the path before you, but never invest in something you don't understand. Don't chase hype or trends. Build your wealth on sound principles, not promises. Remember, wealth is not a destination, it's a journey of learning, adapting, and improving. You will face setbacks, you will make mistakes, but each challenge is a lesson, each failure a step forward. The difference between those who build wealth and those who don't is not the absence of failure but the refusal to quit. And as you build your wealth, never lose sight of gratitude. Gratitude keeps your perspective clear. It reminds you that money is a tool, not a goal. It keeps your heart grounded, even as your bank account grows. Because wealth without gratitude is emptiness. Wealth with gratitude is peace. So commit to these rules. Live them daily. Teach them to those who come after you. Because wealth built on solid principles does not end with you. It grows through generations. It changes lives beyond your own. It's your legacy. You can start today, no matter your age, no matter your income, no matter your background. These rules don't care where you begin, they only care if you begin. The moment you take control of your money, you take control of your life. You're not here by accident. You're here because somewhere inside you know there's more for you. More freedom, more peace, more power, more life. And these 7 rules, they're your roadmap. Follow them with faith, with courage, with discipline, and watch how your world transforms. Because wealth is not about what you have, it's about who you become. It's about the strength you build, the clarity you find, the purpose you live, the freedom you earn. This is your moment, this is your journey, this is your life.